all know that the home is supposed to be a place of safety and comfort, but most of us are sometimes completely unaware of what happens when the horror is inside the walls. There are many reasons why fright inside the house can be so effective, including the fact that it taps into our primal fear of the unknown. When we're in our own homes, we're surrounded by things we know and trust, but the real question is, what if there's something lurking in the shadows or an entity that we don't understand that's also with us in the same confined space? This uncertainty can be incredibly unsettling, and it can definitely intensify our anxiety in so many ways. Furthermore, horror inside the house can exploit our sense of familiarity because we know our homes inside and out. So when something strange happens, it can be all the more jarring. For example, if you hear a noise in the middle of the night, you're likely to assume it's just the wind or the neighbors. But what if it's not? What if there's something real lurking in the darkness that you're not familiar with yet? And of course, let's not forget that you can literally become a victim of a home invasion in the middle of the day while you're sitting in your living room, checking your social media, thinking you're away from any threat. With that being said, in today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 real-life incidents that will make some of you change your perception of their homes or basically get scared of the idea of moving to a new one without doing some investigation first. So let's not waste any more time on this weird intro and just start.
So I kept on finding food missing in my apartment that I knew I wasn't eating. I confronted my girlfriend who lives with me about it, and she claimed she wasn't eating it. So I decided I'm going to set up a video camera and I'm going to catch her. This is what I found.
If you're someone who regularly notices that something in your house is not in its right place or that some food in the refrigerator is gone mysteriously, then this incident will only increase your paranoia to the roof and make everything look even more suspicious to you. In 2009, a resident of Manhattan named Joe Cummings noticed food in his fridge kept going missing every day without any clear signs or traces, especially since he lives with his partner only, and she said that she doesn't know anything about what he's claiming. In order to put an end to his curiosity and suspicion, Joe decided to set up a home security camera in his kitchen so he could get an idea of what was happening during his absence and see if there was something unusual that might explain the missing stuff. A few days later, he checked the footage and was shocked to see a woman emerge from his cupboard slowly to avoid making any sound, start eating food from the fridge casually, and even pee in his sink as if she were one of the house owners or something. The scary part is that it is suspected that this female is in her 20s and that she had been living in Cummings' house for 2 weeks without his knowledge, and she had even made herself a bed and a makeshift bathroom in the cupboard. And the scarier part is that when Joe called the police, the woman was never found, and she's still unidentified to this day without any information about where she went or why she was living in a home that's not hers. There are some reports that claim that she was arrested, but there's no actual credible source that can confirm that. The story of this woman is a reminder that it is important to be aware of your surroundings and to report any suspicious activity to the authorities, because even in the most secure of homes, there is always the possibility that someone could be living there without your knowledge. Some people claim that Joe staged the video and that the situation couldn't be real, but there's no proof that can actually back up any speculation against the credibility of the footage. And trust me, guys, if you think that this specific incident is unique and bizarre, then allow me to tell you that you're wrong. Because this type of situation has happened so many times all over the world, including a popular incident that happened in 2008 in Japan where a homeless 58-year-old woman literally lived for a whole year under the roof of a random man's house, and he only started suspecting her existence when he also started noticing the disappearance of food. She was eventually caught and identified as Tatsuko Horikawa, but her popular nickname afterwards was the woman in the closet due to the fact that she managed to stay undetected for 12 months while living in a small closet. So what do you think, guys? Do you believe that these chilling events will make you check your houses regularly to confirm that there are no unwelcome inhabitants in them? Or are you among the people who think this stuff is rare and can't happen to you? Regardless of what you think, I'm personally going to start checking every empty corner of my house and making sure that every inch of my place is officially under my control and supervision, because this stuff is really creepy and I'm not ready to get robbed secretly in my own home.
Okay, so I'm back, and I'm going to explore this hidden room. I'm the only one home right now, so I don't know if this is such a good idea, but I am dying to see what's back here. Okay, so I don't want to get trapped. Bear with me, this closet. Okay.
Many of us have probably moved to multiple houses during our lives and relocated to several areas depending on our interests or certain opportunities that we might find in the new places we move to. However, every new house can sometimes come with new struggles, whether it's a weird-looking kitchen, horrible neighbors, or something even worse. And when I say worse, I basically mean something more mysterious and scary like hidden rooms and enigmatic signs. In the last few decades, some people who moved to new houses were horrified to discover things that their brains had a hard time processing and comprehending. Just like the guy who made an astonishing discovery beneath the porch when he found an overwhelming total of 37 clown dolls, which is one of the chilliest things you can ever find, by the way. And then there's this man who found an actual bag of human teeth in his new home's freezer. And there's also a newly arrived tenant in Melbourne who was shocked to uncover a concealed camera installed behind the mirror, which means the previous owner was someone who loved to spy on people. But I don't think anything comes close to finding a whole secret room that was there all along, but you only learned about its existence by coincidence and after years of living in the house. And that's exactly what happened to this woman. 3 years ago, a woman stumbled upon something weird after a while of moving to a new home. She has been gradually decluttering the cupboards and closets, but during the process, she made an intriguing discovery when she noticed that one of the cabinets could be literally moved. She was going through a cabinet that was full of belongings from the previous elderly resident, and she suddenly noticed that the cabinet could be moved. When she looked inside, she found a hidden space full of stuff that might not be considered very normal. The room was full of old things like artwork, cups, and books, but the most chilling thing is obviously none other than the eerie dolls and bizarre toys that the new owner can't figure out who used to actually play with them, considering the fact that the previous owner is basically an old woman and there were no children in the abode. This unusual discovery left the new resident with more questions than answers, because she couldn't understand what the purpose of this area in the house was, or why the last owner didn't tell her about it during the selling process. Because, let's be honest guys, as horror fans, we all know that wherever dolls exist, there will always be darkness, wickedness, and terrifying backstories behind each one of them. I'm sorry to say it, but anyone who enjoys having dolls in their house is pretty much a psychopath to me because those things can't be considered a source of joy in any way, regardless of how cute they look. But what's even scarier is when you find a network of secret underground passageways under your home, which is literally what this man discovered beneath his house and kept him in complete shock. So if you guys think that you're completely familiar with the place you're living under its roof, then trust me when I tell you that you should probably think again, because most of us don't even know the history of the properties we buy or rent, and we usually just get convinced by the outside appearance and the size without actually checking the hidden sides.
Okay. All right. So it looks like there's some old toys, books, oh, paper. Okay. Oh, so I'm a little confused here. So is this storage? Or is she hiding things? I don't know. I am going to start digging through everything after this and see what else is back here. So it's been months since I opened the secret room, and today was the first day back here. I decided to clean it out. This room just left me very unsettled, and actually I felt really uncomfortable back here, but I did clean it out, and I wanted you to see some of the fun things I found. This box of china, these old little face mugs that everybody seems to like, more of those. But the best thing was this box of old coins, old money. I haven't really dug through it yet, but I see some old watches. That coin right on top says 1890, and that's just the first of many. So that should be fun. But honestly, after today, I've decided I'm locking this room up, and I think it should go back to who this room belongs to, and that would be you girls.
Now to the town of Seffner, Florida, near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up, as it does increasingly and thousands of times every year in this country. This time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home.
We have the first images from Florida of that cavernous sinkhole that swallowed a home and a young man in his bedroom. And ABC's
We're getting our clearest view yet of a large sinkhole that swallowed a Seffner man. The video was released today.
This incident is honestly very bizarre and messed up in such a way that I'm pretty sure it will make a lot of people lose trust in the safety of their own homes and cause them to be paranoid about even sleeping in their bedroom without any doubts. On February 2nd, 2013, Jeffrey Bush was sleeping in his bedroom, normally and calmly like anyone would do on a regular day in his life. However, what happened next is something we probably only see in horror movies and fictional scenarios. Just when everything was going okay, a sinkhole suddenly opened up beneath Jeffrey's home in Seffner, Florida, and there were basically no prior signs or sounds indicating that it was going to show up. The sinkhole was about 20 feet deep and 30 feet wide, and it literally swallowed Bush's bedroom and everything in it, including him personally. His brother Jeremy Bush tried to save him but was unable to reach him before the sinkhole collapsed because everything happened too fast and there was no time to comprehend the events around him and act faster. Rescue crews searched for Bush for several days, but he was nowhere to be found and his body was never recovered, which eventually led to the sinkhole being filled in and the property being condemned.
Say many things can cause them. In Florida, it's a domino effect. The state's sandy soil on top of clay, supported on a deep layer of limestone, can suddenly collapse due to a dramatic shift in Florida's unique.
Jeff's death marked the first fatal sinkhole incident in Florida in more than 10 years, drawing significant awareness to the hazards associated with sinkholes, as these incidents are frequently observed in the state. And in case you guys don't know, sinkholes are basically a geological phenomenon that occurs when underground water erodes the limestone or other soluble rock beneath the surface, creating a void, and eventually the ground above the void becomes too weak to support its own weight, leading to a sudden collapse. It's also important to note that since Bush's death, there have been several other peculiar sinkhole accidents in Florida, including one in 2018, when a massive sinkhole opened up in central Florida, and it was initially about 35 feet in diameter and 15 feet deep, but it rapidly expanded to over 260 feet wide and 50 feet deep, which led to several homes being damaged and residents being temporarily evacuated. Another one occurred recently when a sinkhole appeared in the city of Claremont and swallowed part of a road, causing a large section to collapse.
Nearly the width
width of an entire lane of traffic. And Nestor Mato has been out there investigating all morning long. This is along Monte Vista Road near Bradley Circle. And Nestor, we know you went back there and showed that it's actually been filled yet, but that doesn't mean the road's going to reopen yet.
So for all the people who are watching this video from Florida, I'm sorry to tell you guys that your homes are not as safe as you might think, and none of you can predict when another sinkhole will swallow another victim because it simply happens out of nowhere and with no indications. And to all our international viewers too, I'm also sorry to tell you guys that you're not completely safe from this phenomenon, and it can happen to you too at any time when you least expect it. But until then, let's just stay optimistic and wish safety for all of us, because honestly, this incident is so creepy and no one deserves to go through it, especially when we remember that Jeff's body is still missing to this day and we don't know anything about where he ended up when he fell. And by the way, guys, I forgot to tell you that the same sinkhole that swallowed Jeff literally reopened more than once in the next few years, including a reopening that happened this year, which means that the spot is very dangerous, and it's good that the residents of the house decided to move elsewhere because the hole's obviously still seeking victims.
Now to our other big story of the day, a sinkhole in southern Hillsborough County that swallowed a man sleeping in his bed back in 2013 and reopened again 2 years later is once again causing concerns. Crews have been out on Faithway Drive in Zeffner throughout the day monitoring the hole after reopening for a third time now. But there is some good news. There's no one living close to it anymore. After the hole originally formed a decade ago, officials declared the area so unstable, they demolished the house on the site and the homes on both sides of it.
Okay, guys, I think this is enough horror for you today. Otherwise, you will probably sleep in the street tonight, escaping from the unknown people living in your houses and trying to minimize your chances of getting swallowed in the bedroom. This video was a fast test of this type of content to see if you guys liked it or not, so make sure to tell me your thoughts in the comments below and advise me if you want more of this or not. Until then, stay safe and keep the horror going.